Welcome back to my channel. My name is Hannah and I have a goal of investing $106,000 this year with an ultimate goal of semi-retiring in my early 40s. Today we're going to be talking first about my May budget and then we're going to get into how my April budget went. So let's start with May. So for May, our W-2 jobs are going to be bringing in $10,768 and then we are transferring $130 from our nanny fund into our checking account to cover our nanny costs. And then our vacation fund that we have been saving up for, actually our last year's bonuses went to our vacation fund. We transferred $1,300 into our checking account to cover our vacation to Utah this month. So our total income will be $12,198. And just a reminder, I'm a physical therapist and my husband is a chemical engineer. For our variable expenses, those don't change too much despite being variable expenses. This month I do cash stuffing every 2 weeks and I will be cash stuffing $1,365 the first half of the month and then $1,135 the second half for a total of $2,500. I personally just love cash stuffing because it really keeps me on track with my budget and it really prevents me from overspending. Electric bill will be roughly $165. We did increase our food budget this month because we decided that we really wanted to get Brady, our 8-month-old, some good quality baby food. We were making baby food and it is really taxing when you're trying to food prep for yourself and then also food prep for a baby. And we decided to pay for some convenience in our life and we will be adding roughly $100 to our food budget for that service. Next is gas, and hopefully we don't go over our gas budget this month despite diesel and gas prices being insane. We have a diesel truck and oh my gosh, we have been spending so much money on diesel. So we are going on vacation, which means that we are not going to be traveling as much. Well, at least my husband, he's the one that drives mostly. So hopefully we are under budget on our gas. Then we have $965 for our nanny for the first 2 weeks and then $1,095 for the second half. Water bill will be roughly $75 and I did increase that because we are using more water for watering our plants. Well, my plants. And then vacation will be $1,300. I'm praying we don't go over that, but we do have a tendency to go a little crazy when we go on vacation. We just live in this small Texas town, and I feel like when we're on vacation, we're just like being released into the wild and we're like eating at good restaurants and hiking and just trying to get all the experiences we can in like the 10 days that we're out of Texas. So hopefully we do not go over budget, but there is a possibility we will. And also, this is our first time traveling with a newborn, so I don't know how that's going to go. So we'll see. Okay, so fixed expenses this month are going to be $688.44. We have the Coterie prescription or subscription, which is my baby's diapers. And then our home insurance and taxes are $380. I always transfer that. It's an automatic transfer into a savings account, so we have that money when the bill comes. Internet's $120. Subscriptions, this is lower than what I expected last month. So I just put a blanket $50 amount in that subscription because I truly was not keeping track of it. So last month in April, I decided to really keep track of my subscriptions and it was $40.44. So I'm hoping that stays the same. Trash is $25. So our debt will be $928. That is our standard truck loan payment. We have 2 more years on that payment. And then for our investments and savings, so $200 always gets last month, April, I tried to automate all of these savings and investments so I don't have to think about it and it just automatically invests. So for our car savings, that goes straight to Vanguard. We invest in VTI, and that is just us saving up for our next car. Our emergency fund, I will go into this why I am contributing to my emergency fund soon, but I am putting $190 into my emergency fund. And then for the Roth IRAs, Sean and I both contribute, and we will be maxing those out by the end of the year. And that will be $1,250. Again, that goes straight from our checking account to our Vanguard account. And we invest in VTSAX mainly, which is another Vanguard account or mutual fund. Taxable brokerage, we realized that we could be contributing a little bit more because we've been cutting costs on certain things. So we are hoping to put $1,791 in our taxable brokerage account. And this fund is really where we take from if we overspend. So we are hoping that amount does not change, and that's what we put in there. And then, of course, Brady's UTMA account, we put $50 in there, and then his grandparents put another $50, which I don't really account for here. So he gets $100 every single month. And then our payroll deductions, I do like to add these in because I like to keep track of my investments and see how close I am to my goal of reaching $106,000 this year. So Sean's 401k will be $2,068. Mine will be $1,941.77. My employee stock purchase plan is $476.93, and that should be ending in July. And we just contributed 7%. I could technically go up to 10%, but this was our first time doing it. So we didn't really know how we would like the employee stock purchase plan. So in July, we're going to kind of evaluate to see if we made money, which I think we might have, and then go from there to see if we want to invest in the second half of this year. And then our HSA, one of my favorite investment accounts, is $686. So that is our May budget. And let's get into our April budget. So for April, this was kind of a chaotic month for spending. It appears that we brought in $22,417.51. Now, our W-2 jobs, let's see, was $10,790.56. The rest of the money, let's break that down. So extra nanny costs, $655. We transferred that from our nanny account to our checking account. And if you're new here, my nanny account is basically it's our nanny and Brady account are basically one account, and we have been putting a bunch of money in that account from like tax returns and savings, and we were preparing for the birth of my son and extra costs, and we have not run out of money in that account. So every month we just transfer a little bit over to cover some nanny costs. So last month it was $655. For this $44, I sold a couple things on Marketplace that were my son's. I think just like some older clothes that he outgrew and a little chair that he no longer fit in. And then I randomly got a check in the mail, which was awesome. Last year, I canceled a credit card. It was like a travel rewards credit card, and they apparently did not pay me my rewards when I canceled. So I got a check for I think $120 and some change, and then the rest of this $160.78 is benefits, rewards from my current credit card from last month. So Old Navy. Okay, this is such a weird story. So I went to Old Navy. I never shop at Old Navy, but I did stop in there, and I ended up liking a lot of things. And I spent, hold on, I wrote this down, $244.89 on clothes. And I know a lot of people do not like credit cards, and that's totally fine. Neither do I really. I really tried to pay with cash, but I did not have a budget for clothing. And that was my mistake. And I actually have corrected that. I made a clothing envelope, and I'm going to start really contributing to that envelope so I have cash when I go shopping. So I ended up getting a Old Navy credit card. And when I applied for it, I actually got denied in store. It was like on a Friday. And I was like, that's so strange because I have like an 800 credit score. So I have like hardly any debt. Why wouldn't I be approved? So then on Monday, I get an email saying I was approved. So, long story short, my husband took the receipt and proof that I got approved, and they gave me a credit on my credit card, not my Old Navy credit card, of $91. So, I technically didn't even use that credit card, and I have, nor will I activate it. I just got the discount. So, that was really cool. And that's where the $91 came from. Baby fund was $3,291. So we got a pretty large tax refund back because my husband has a business on the side that does bring in a good amount of income and has a lot of tax write-offs. So we decided to take some money and fix up these two sheds, and I will put them on the screen. These two sheds in the back of our house. They were kind of falling apart. The roof was like the shingles were falling off, and the deck on one of the sheds was just like kind of rotting in certain places. So it was just really time to fix those up. I've been wanting to do it for a very long time, and we are really starting to get our house exactly the way we want it for our early retirement. We want to really get these big purchases out of the way before we semi-retire. So that was $3,111, and it was not supposed to be that much, but he had to fix a roof and fix the deck, and that was a little bit pricier. We were quoted at $1,839, so a little bit pricier. And then the rest of this was just extra costs that we spent on Brady. And then vacation, we have a fund from last year. We saved both of our bonuses for this year's vacations. So I transferred $1,080 into our checking account to cover our Airbnb that we had for Park City in Salt Lake City. And then, gosh, there's so much to talk about as far as income, so I apologize. But emergency fund, I told you, it was a crazy month. So here's another story that you did not ask for, but we got our bill for our insurance, our home insurance, and it was $700 more than last year. So we ended up shopping around and we found a lower cost, and we bundled our car insurance and our home insurance. So we ended up pulling from our emergency fund to cover our car insurance because we paid in full, and usually we pay monthly. And honestly, I really don't like to do that. I do not like to touch my emergency fund unless it's an emergency, and this definitely was not an emergency. But it is what it is. I did it. I'm not going to do it again, and I'm putting that money back. Um, and next year, we are not doing that. We are doing monthly payments. It was kind of like this spur of the moment thing. And honestly, I just did not think through it. I just didn't think about where the money was come from. I just said, oh, we're saving X amount of dollars, which I think was $25 on our car insurance and then $700 a year on our home insurance. So I was like, that's a great savings. Yes, do it. But anyway, so that's the story with the emergency fund amount. And then we transferred $2,047 to our checking account from our home insurance savings account. And then the horse fund is another account that we have. We have so many different savings accounts. I'm going to eventually put all of our savings accounts, like a list on here, so you guys know what I'm talking about. But my husband had some expenses for his horses, so he transferred some money to pay off his credit card that he put that money on. So let's see what else happened in April. It was a crazy month. Our savings was $7,907. We actually ended up putting $1,285 into our taxable brokerage account, and we thought we would only be putting in $850. So that was a win. We stayed on target with all of the rest of our investment accounts. And then our fixed expenses, I didn't pay anything for our car insurance, like for our old car insurance, because I think that they had to adjust a few things. So we are getting that bill in May. So I just rolled that money over into a savings account and put it in our home and insurance taxes account. And then as far as our variable expenses, we did end up going over our food budget. We just ended up purchasing a lot of groceries this month, and we historically have been pretty terrible at sticking to a food budget because I always go quality over quantity for food. Like, I'm always buying really good organic food because I just like it and I feel like it's doing something good for my body. And so I'm okay with spending a little bit more on good food. So I'm not too bent out of shape about that. However, we did spend $502.10 on our gas and diesel. And like I said in the beginning of this video, diesel is insane right now, and so is gas. So we spent $200 more on our than our budget allotted for. Other than that, we had a higher water bill, and I should just expect that because it is planting season and we are constantly watering our plants. We had our truck payment come out successfully. So that is really all for April. I know that was a lot of information, but that was our April. Sometimes it is chaotic. Sometimes you have a lot going on. Hopefully May calms down a little bit. So thank you so much for watching. I truly appreciate it. And if you enjoyed this video, I would love to hear from you in the comments section, or even a thumbs up would be amazing. You have a great day, and I will catch you in the next one.